Looking at the XRP chart in front of you, it shows you clearly that each time when you break to the downside, the 21-day moving average, which I told you to watch, whenever you break that to the downside, you kind of drop like crazy. The average is close to 15%. The lowest we have seen is like 11%. The highest is close to 30%. So which is it going to be? Yes, you do have a support at 0.49. Just like we've been arguing from 2-3 weeks, we came almost close to that. But now the question is, what are you really watching on the Bitcoin side? Do you see this playing out clearly? Or can you understand how the market is evolving? Because you do get signals, clear signals. Ether is here. It came down and touched 2151. Why is that level so important? Guys, watch. We've been following this. We've been highlighting this. We've been giving you just this, following it up every single week, and the highlighted portion is now reached. So ETH is pushing back to the demand zone 2150. This is what we talked. Even in the YouTube video, we gave you that. And right now, the market is there. Now, look at the total altcoin market. In general, it's been slow. This is posted back in August. And now it took almost a month just to do the 6% downside. So watch. I was arguing 520. Right now, you reached 528 and the week low was 520. Yes, it's terrible. It's hard to watch the prices dropping unless you are in the SI family and you are understanding that this is about to come. We talked about how weak Ether is. We talked about how the situation may evolve. And now that is playing clearly out. This is the drop which I told you guys to watch. Even in yesterday's video, I argued how XRP should come down to the support and then bounce off. The buying range is always at the low. So that's why we say buy low, sell high. Any of those opportunities which the market is presenting you, follow the scientific investor family, get all of that right now. You go in the market, you find your assets. Now the market is showing you that it would like to give you clear signals. Now say we start from silver. The price dropped. Yes, the price dropped. But what can you see here? We had a breakout. We did a retest. Good. That's not bad. And if you're watching that particular retest, what can you see? It's forming an inverse head and shoulder on a 3-day chart, not a 4-hour, not a daily, a 3-day chart. Last time it formed the opposite, the price tanked. That's something to look for. Before this, when it came here without a drop, it did make a double bottom and bounce. Yeah, the resistance was not breached. So the price did come back down. So take that idea, go on to a monthly, because silver is like a macro asset. What are you really watching here? This is all happening in front of you. The resistance being broken on a macro. Now it's the retest zone day. You're watching a macro breakout in pattern terms in a commodity. And that's arguing this commodity is about to ride another 100% after this retest. So what do you think is happening in the economy for such kind of a move in a commodity? You're coming here, you're watching the total market. Say this is NASDAQ. And it kind of gives you some sense of what happened back in the day and right now. So all that you have to watch is this trend line. If you see this trend line getting nuked, That's trouble for the stock market. Whether that's US, whether that's Indian markets. You are right now following it clearly and you're looking for a trend line. As soon as your trend line gets invalidated, someone is about to nuke the market. So if what we have seen in the recent past is clear, money is about to get shaken out of the stock markets around the globe. Some of it is going to come in to crypto market. Now, which assets would attract that? Yeah, we understand this clearly. Altcoin market is getting close to this support. Now, it's not by chance. The thought process was, yeah, we have to come down here. We have to come close to $520 billion in market cap. That's crypto market, excluding Bitcoin and Ether. Same, excluding Bitcoin and Ether, which was the level where you came to. 518, that's as close as you can get. Now, we still didn't touch the trend line here. That's okay. But remember, each and every time when you come back down to retest these, whether it's before, back in 2024 Jan or 2023 December, we had long wicks to the downside. Whether that's this year, you're watching that. We have long wicks to the downside. Yes, I agree. Some people who knew this is a buy opportunity, they went in and bought heavy during these times and made a decent profit, riding it back up. So if the price action is about to give you just that, why wouldn't you use that? But yeah, it's not an index, you cannot buy that. Now, how would you then participate in these events? And that's where the crypto market in general comes into the picture. You need to watch which of these assets are attracting liquidity. You need to observe which of these assets are getting more trades. High volume, more trades, and a proper direction is all that you have to follow. You need help like this in front of you, detailed, followed through, then join the SI family. Use the link in the description below to get into that. Now, right back into XRP for a moment. Macro picture, it's clear. You understand what's happening. Fine. But then, if you do take weekly chart, what do you see? The minimum drop is kind of in, right? And then the weekly moving average is also in. Below the moving average here, we've seen a 15% drop down. We've seen a 30% drop down. The average here is kind of 15. What does that make? If you plot that 15% to the downside, you come close to 0.43. Now, do you understand why we were arguing this? Is it going to be 0.43 or is it going to be 0.49? Two critical levels which we argued is now clearly in the picture. Yeah, it did take 2 weeks to reach the first territory itself. The market is kind of shaky and the slippery slope here with all the whales. The story is the same. But you need to understand Bitcoin showed you one bullish divergence. Now it's extending that bullish divergence by increasing momentum, which is positive. Now, the trouble is you're still inside this pattern and it's been few months we've riding this particular pattern. Unless you get a break to the downside or to the upside, you really don't know what to do. But as soon as you get a bounce off this level, now you have an idea. What is it? This is going to be your rectangle. This is going to be your resistance around 61K. You do break that, 68K. That's the short-term rally. But while Bitcoin does that, do you think altcoins can live? Because when you come onto a daily chart, after some time, you're breaking below the moving average on a daily. Now you go on a 3-day. You have some room to the downside to reach there. And it's not only that, when you go on a weekly, you pull up all the indicators you want, you're watching a slowdown. And not only that, you're watching a hanging man candle forming with a 3 candle formation coming in, which is known as evening star. That's not bad. So there is going to be some short-term moves which is going to attract more capital in to the altcoin market. So you kind of get the picture where we are going. Any break to the downside there is going to lead the market to the all-round way of 48, 47 range. So this particular pattern which we've been watching, if it breaks to the downside, you will get the confirmation below 56. As soon as you go below 56, the pattern is confirmed it's breaking to the downside. Don't be confused. It's at least going to be a 10% to the downside. That is 49. But we know historically these kind of events, panics, don't just do that. Yeah, there will be intermediate bounces, but then you may also see huge shake in the Bitcoin side of the equation so that people run into the alt market. Now, if you're at that verge, talk about this. You're not breaking to the upside. You're not getting even a long fake out. Rather, you're slowing down. Your support remains at this point. Remember, when the market goes down like this and you can get excited about it, it's only when you know what was about to happen. Now, on a macro picture, if this is what you're watching, then ask yourself, at what point would you like to get involved? Or if you are already in the market, at what level would you like to double down if you are prepared to? When the market is giving you this narrative, so you just go back to the Bitcoin side of the equation, the monthly chart shows you this. The long wick to the downside, the bottom was 49. The panic level, which should be increasingly now visible, is because we are below this key level of support. The next major support is at 45, which would be close to the moving average. That's the equation. So if you do look at the drop, the first one was 21%. Right now, you've already watched 33%. How much longer do you need? Then you go on to the RSI on a monthly. You want to see whether the trend still exists. You want to ask the question, is the trend getting invalidated? Because each bounce off from that trend line gave you something positive. So now, where exactly are you? You are at that trend line. The decision factor is not now. The decision factor is after a break to the downside or a bounce off. But you also know what we discussed. This still remains. There is nothing changing that. It's about to come back to show you this. Whether that's going to be from here or right from the trend line, we'll have to see. But one thing which you are going to watch here, without a doubt, is the whales will not let the majority ride it because they understand this. Remember, trend lines, it's subjective. If you're using candlesticks, you put that into a line chart. Now argue what's the trend. It's easy. You're trying to find the local bottoms. You're trying to connect them. This is exactly what you're watching. So if you have trouble plotting trend lines on a candlestick chart, it's okay. Jump onto the line chart. This is going to help you massively. Now, yes, we are looking at a couple of years of trend line, but don't forget the fact that if you extend that over a period of time, this is what you're watching. If you're going back last 7-8 years, this is what you're watching. That's a long-term movement. Now, when you do go out, yes, as we discussed from a long period of time, this is what you're watching. So the support zone here goes up like this. A bounce off here and a shakedown is going to be hard. It is going to kill a lot of institutions. A lot of these guys are going to jump back into what? Central bank digital currencies. That narrative will come. I don't know when, but I think the odds for that is going to be high. This is when they crash the crypto. This is when they push the narrative of private versus the central government stuff. It is coming. Be prepared for that. To ride this wave to the upside in Bitcoin means to ride the massive run up in altcoins if you are ready. Only if you are ready. Because whenever this happens, that's exactly when a lot of people make wealth. But make sure you scale out. Make sure you anchor your greed on your spot bags. You should be watching multiples based on your cost basis. Don't look at the price targets given by a lot of people, including me. Watch the resistance levels and your cost basis. Take the right decision. Say you need help. You need details which you missed. Join the SI family, ride the market, make sure you come out on the top. So guys, if you received value, smash that like button for me. I'll meet you guys on next video. Bye for now.